What is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, we have a big announcement coming from Kastaplast. I saw this on the Let's Kastaplast page on Facebook, and I know probably a lot of you guys aren't on there. So Kastaplast said, Latitude 64 is the new co-owner of Kastaplast. We're happy to announce that Latitude 64 has joined us as a co-owner of Kastaplast. Going forward, we'll run Kastaplast together. Since the official start in 2013, Kastaplast has been the typical small-sized company run by its owners. During this time, we have seen our brand become stronger for each year, much thanks to the support from the Kasta community worldwide. With the ever-growing demand for K-Mark discs, Kastaplast is now the stage of upscaling, and we are certain that Latitude 64 is the right partner when continuing to develop. By playing a major role in disc golf for many years, our new co-owner will add valuable experience to Kastaplast. We know that our friends from Latitude share our high expectation regarding quality, as well as the constant strive towards bringing the best out of a company. Even though the home of Kastaplast will always be Stockholm, we will now also have a second home in Latitude. The production will move successfully later this year. However, the work of developing the next generation Kastaplast discs has already begun. An overstable distance driver is currently on the drawing board. Like always, it will have the typical characteristics of a Kastaplast disc, such as the plastic and the overall feel. A new chapter has begun, but the soul and spirit of Kastaplast will stay the same. Let's Kastaplast. Anders Karlström, CEO of Kastaplast. So I thought this was really interesting, and my first question was, will the pros be able to, like the Latitude 64s, will they be throwing Kastaplast, and will the Kastaplast players be throwing Latitude 64? Because I think that would be really cool to see some of the Latitude players and some of the Trilogy players throwing Kastaplast, and I think that would be really good for Kastaplast as an overall brand. Someone was talking about this down here in the comments. They said, I've seen this question asked on the disc golf subreddit. Does that mean that Trilogy sponsored players will be able to throw Kasta? And this was the response. I don't know who Ryan Alexander is, so I don't know how credible this is, but he said, on one of the dozen other threads on this topic, someone said that the Kastaplast CEO stated that Kastaplast players could throw Trilogy, but Trilogy players would not be able to throw Kastaplast. This makes sense probably because the Trilogy brand will make more money off of selling Trilogy discs, but Kastaplast to this date still doesn't have a full lineup, so the Kastaplast sponsored players are probably already throwing mixed bags. This will actually probably limit them and only allow them to throw Kastaplast and Trilogy now. So I'm assuming if Kastaplast players are throwing Innova or Discraft or any of the other major manufacturers, they probably won't be able to throw that stuff anymore. They probably need to switch their bags to Kastaplast/Trilogy. And it does make sense that Trilogy players wouldn't be throwing Kastaplast because it doesn't really benefit Trilogy all that much. I know Latitude 64 has some of the nicest feeling plastic and some of the highest standards in producing disc golf discs. I'm a little bit disappointed that they won't be able to throw Kastaplast discs. I'd really love to see like Kristen Tatar throw a Berg, or possibly seeing some of the other Latitude pros throwing the Grim and the Grim X, but or any new molds they may come out with. This news also couldn't come out at a better time because a lot of people are really struggling to get their hands on the new yarn from Kastaplast. They were selling reground first runs. There was all kinds of problems, and I know that they didn't release many of them because they're reselling on the Kastaplast dealer pages for like $200 to get a first run yarn, which is absolutely crazy. They should have released more discs than that. Like, in my opinion, they're even more exclusive to get a first run Kastaplast than it is to get the new Discmania, which is really bad. So they missed out on a lot of money because they weren't able to sell that many discs. With all that being said, good things from Kastaplast. The news of the partnership couldn't have come at a better time because this first run release of the new disc was honestly a disaster in my opinion. They didn't make enough discs, they had problems. Some of them came out like super freakishly Frankenstein domey, and then some of them came out like absolute board flat. And it was just a disaster of a drop. There's no way those two different shapes would have the same sort of flight paths of the flight numbers. I have no idea how this thing's gonna fly. And I didn't even try to get one because I knew it would be next to impossible, and I'm not going to buy one from a scalper just to make a YouTube video about it. But with all that being said, good news from Latitude, good news from Kastaplast. I'm looking forward to seeing how this sort of shapes up through the season. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. You're watching Iceberg TV, and take care.